Morning on day 95. Day 95. It's another gorgeous morning on the PCT. Morning. Plan for today is to go to Sierra City, basically. I think that towns along the PCT have their own magnetic fields because despite your decisions or intentions to pass them or leave them, you just find yourself just there's this gravitational force that you have no control over. It's just something beyond yourself, and you find yourself in town. Anyway, because I still don't really need to go to Sierra City, but we've discovered the possibility of meeting up with a couple friends who we hiked through a lot of the desert with, that flipped up. So they went to, when they got to the Sierra, so they went, instead of walking through the Sierra, they went to, I think, the California-Oregon border and then hiked south. And so while we've been hiking north, they've been hiking south, and it looks like we're going to meet in the middle today here in Sierra City. So that seems like a good enough reason to go into town and meet some friends and catch up on trail stories. We've got about 23 miles to get there today. I think the store closes, this like the little general store that also does like burgers and shakes and stuff, around 5, so I have to push a little bit if I want to get there by that time. But again, I have plenty of food, so I'm not really worried about it. Even if I don't make it, honestly, it's probably a good thing. But yeah, up pretty early, beautiful morning, excited to see how the day goes. Hey, I'm hanging out here in Sierra City, still caught in the gravitational pull. There is a church in town, and town is very, very small. I don't know how many people actually live here, but it's a pretty small town. And there's a church in town that allows hikers to set up their tents in the churchyards. You can kind of see behind me that way. There's some tents set up and hikers hanging out. So I am also going to hang out in the churchyard tonight. Town has public restrooms, which is pretty cool. They actually have a public shower. It's mostly just it's a shower, but it's so cold. And so it's a refreshing, maybe that's the word we'll use for it, refreshing shower. But I was able to rinse off some of the dirt and grime, so that was nice. I'm gonna stay here tonight, and and I did make it in time for a milkshake. Not one milkshake, but 2 actually, because one just wasn't enough. So 2 chocolate milkshakes and a plate of fries later. Here I am, and yeah, gonna enjoy the night, enjoy the company, and then get back on trail tomorrow. And also, we did meet up with our friends with 2% and Tumbleweed, who are 2 of our friends that flipped to Ashland and then have been walking southbound. And so we did catch them in town, and so over those 2 milkshakes that I got to sit and talk with them about what's coming up in Northern California, and we told them about the Sierra and just all the things in between. And it was really nice to catch up and realize that, hey, we're all still on trail, we're all still making it on our own journeys here, and hopefully when they flip back up to Ashland and go to finish the trail, hopefully we'll run into them again sometime. But anyway, that was a really nice little part of today. So this is basically town. That's most of it right there. Good morning on day 96. I've been climbing out of Sierra City. We got a 3,000-foot climb out of town today. I think I'm about halfway done with it. I've kind of reached the first, plateau, but I'll show you. Can see the trail, I think, on the mountain over there, so I'll flip the camera and show you around a bit. This is the elevation that I've climbed to so far, but you can see that I have a bit of a ways up to go. And if you look over on that mountain, there's a line that runs kind of across the mountain there. And I could be wrong, but I'm thinking that might be the trail.
So hiking over all of these loose rocks is kind of awful. It's not fun. They move around. You don't really know like which one's gonna move and make you trip and break your ankle or just fall over or slip. And yeah, it's tough to walk across these, and got a lot of them to deal with right now. I was wrong about where the trail was earlier. Here it is on this side of the mountain, all the way over there.
So the past several days, basically since I left Tahoe, I've been thinking a bit about how to stay motivated in this section. Because from what I hear, and I don't know if it's true, but what I've heard is that a lot of people will drop out in Northern California, and it has to do with the fact that, you know, like in the desert everything's new and exciting, and then you get to the Sierra and that's just this pretty incredible experience, you know, just like literal mountaintop highs sort of thing, and then you get through all of that and then you find yourself in Northern California, and you're still in California and you haven't yet hit the halfway point, and you've done a lot, and yet you're sort of like, okay, what am I doing now? And sorry. and I was feeling that a little bit, I think, and but mostly what I realized for me is that I needed some sort of definition for the next section, because like I went in, you know, going into the desert, I had an idea of what the desert would be and what its challenges would bring, and the same thing for the Sierra. It didn't really matter if my expectations were exactly accurate. At least I had a concept for what was next and what I was kind of getting into. And for Northern California, I was realizing I just didn't have one. I was like, what is it? Like, I'm still walking, but what is Northern California? And so last night, hanging out in Sierra City, I was asking, you know, some of the southbounders and then just other hikers who are familiar with the area. I was like, how do you define this area? Because apparently the mental game I need to play with myself to keep going is that I need something a little like more, I don't know, some sort of concept to grab onto and be like, okay, that's next. That's what I'm taking on next. And, you know, people kind of threw out some things, but somebody said it's the desert with trees. And for some reason, my brain really latched onto that. I was like, okay, I remember the desert. Like, I know what that was like. Like, I could do that again. And trees, I know trees. Like, all right, so now I'm walking through the desert with trees. And for some reason that has really helped me, like, okay, this is what's next, I can do it. There'll be a little more water than the desert, but obviously less than the Sierra, and we get the benefit of having both rattlesnakes and bears, and probably mountain lions, but we don't like to think about those. Anyway, so that's kind of what I've been thinking about this morning, and thinking like, and feeling just a little generally better. I know that's weird, like, why does it matter what I call it and what I think of it? But you have to play mental games with yourself out here sometimes to keep you moving, you know. On a micro scale, yeah, sure, I'm going day to day and town to town. On a macro scale, I'm going to Canada, but I guess I needed kind of the next chunk, and now I'm kind of feeling better, feeling a little more excited, a little more ready to do this next section and kind of get to Oregon. That's the next one. So anyway, I'm still working on this climb. I'm near the top of it, I think, but still been climbing all morning, so I'm gonna keep at it.
Good morning. It's day 97. This is the valley waking up. I really dig some of these super forested walks. Oops, switching back up. The desert with trees. I don't think I was this dirty even in the desert. Yep. It's gonna take a lot of wet wipes.
Good morning on day 98. Today is a sort of kind of town day. I had a hard time deciding where my next resupply stop was gonna be, but it looks like it's gonna be Bucks Lake, and Bucks Lake is more just like a recreation area around a lake, but it has like a little lodge and resort and restaurant and hopefully a place to do some laundry and showers. I'll just kind of have to ask, and hopefully someone will let me do that. That would be great. There's also a little store where I can do kind of a basic resupply. So the plan for me is that if I can do all of those things there, awesome. And if I can't, then Belden is only one day away. So maybe I'll still just stop and have I don't know, maybe a milkshake or something. And then I can head to Belden tomorrow and do all the laundering and showering and resupplying. Yeah, feeling excited. Bucks Lake is only about 18 miles away, which compared to the miles I've been doing for the past couple of days, that's actually kind of a shorter day. So I'm excited. I think I woke up with the town fever. So the plants in this area are incredibly fragrant, which is lovely. It's really cool. So you get the sweet flower smells, but then there's some other smells that I can't identify. Pretty sure yesterday I smelled bacon. And remember, I'm a vegetarian, but I remember the smell of bacon and the taste. Anyway, so there's a bacon plant somewhere around here, and right now, somewhere around me, there is a pancakes plant. How a plant can smell like pancakes, I really couldn't tell you, and maybe this has less to do with the plants and more to do with my skewed olfactory system, but I'm telling you, there are bacon and pancake plants on this mountain.
Sweet Ridge. Nice bit of horse poop to ruin that shot. Anyway, very pretty. The bridges and creeks are lovely today, and I love all this green.
I'm on my way up to Lookout Rock, and this is one of the longest climbs I can remember. Seriously, it goes on for like 7 miles, and a lot of it's pretty steep. Did I do this in the Sierra? If I did, I've blocked it out. I don't remember that. I think I'm gonna block this out too.
Alright, finally made it to the top of that climb. So I'm on top of Lookout Rock, and here's the looking out. Pretty good views.
Alright, I'm happily making my way towards the road where I'll be able to hitch into Bucks Lake. I got about 2 miles to go. It's still a little uphilly, but more flat and downhill than the grueling climb that was most of today. But since this morning, I've learned that there are some trail angels in the area that are currently hosting hikers. So I'm pretty excited about the way the day seems to be turning out. So that's my plan, is to get to the road and then hopefully find my way to their cabin and enjoy some relaxation and, like I said, a shower and some laundry and some time with some trail angels.
Alright, so it's evening time. Hikers hanging out at the Awesome Trail Magic. That mat is my bed over there.
So there you go. Here we are.
I will talk more about this tomorrow, but as always, Trail Magic is awesome.